how to pick a niche. This is a story how my wife was able to pick a niche after initial struggle. For example, I've been doing business and entrepreneurship since 2013 when I started as a sports massage therapist, then I went into online course business. I've been thinking a lot about different offers throughout the years, how to pick a niche and so on. And when I was helping my wife, I thought like, it's gonna be easy because she has me. I'm gonna help her get clarity on that, and she will be flying in no time. Wrong. It took a long time, even like a couple years, for her to niche down, which was really important learning. So let me tell the background story. So my wife is a fertility fertility awareness instructor. So basically she is teaching this method for women on how they can use measuring their body temperature and their cervical mucus to track their menstrual cycle, and how to use that to spot possible health problems, use that for natural contraception, or how to get pregnant, because when you're ovulating. And then we had the conversation about, okay, you should pick something quite narrow niche so you get started, it's easy to attract clients. And she understood that, the mind understood, but something wasn't clicking, and she was still like having the resistance of like, but I don't want to say no to a client who would want to use this thing for birth control, or she felt like, but I want to help everyone. And even though I thought like, hey, you can later on expand, but start narrow, it was still something was like really hard for her to actually grasp. But after she struggled for some time, she realized like, yeah, I cannot make progress in my business and getting clients because I don't even know what to write on my website. She was struggling to build a website because she didn't know what to say. Because if she was talking about birth control, but then if she wanted to say something about getting pregnant, two really different things, and then she realized like, yeah, this is not working. I'm just confused in my head. So she had the first struggle a bit, which was for me a learning point about like, okay, I can tell the theory, she can understand the theory, but if she doesn't struggle with the real problem, she's unlikely to be able to make actual decisions and really understand deeply what it means to pick a niche and why it's important. Well, then she was able to niche it down to helping women with PCOS, or nowadays it's called PMOS, how to get pregnant. So basically there's this PCOS problem, health problems that she has also had, so she knows it, and then she figured out like, okay, the women who want to get pregnant, they're willing to pay for the result, and otherwise their other options are like really expensive and invasive fertility treatments. And now she has been focusing on that. She was able to put this website together, and now when I have been helping her make videos, we know what we are focusing on. We know who is the potential buyer. We know what to talk. We have keywords like PCOS and fertility. So when picking a niche, it's really easy to get caught in this place where you feel like, I'm saying no to certain clients. So example, what I told my wife is like, hey, pick a niche, build your website for this, build your messaging around this thing. But if someone happens to come and ask to use this thing, or for you to teach this method for them to be used for natural birth control, you can still take them on as a client. But don't make it your like front porch or your front like your client acquisition. So now magically people don't come to you and ask for your services. But example, my wife talks with her friends, some people she encounters, so she might get a client that is not her niche, but she won't be saying no right now, because if she can help someone with natural birth control, she will take the client because she needs clients at this point. But if the website is talking about 5 different things, 5 different results, 5 different like target avatars, when you're starting out and you're struggling to get any kind of traction it's not gonna work out. So you can later expand. You don't have to say no if someone approaches you, or you can make a one-on-one setting an offer for someone. But when you're building your website, your public site, and you're deciding where you put your active effort, you need a spearhead. You need something to get going. And really helpful thing is to think through this lens of like, how do I get one client, one customer? What does it mean? Well, the one customer at the same time is not wanting natural birth control and wanting to get pregnant. Okay, so when you are thinking about that one specific client, you can become really, really specific. You can figure out like the age, roughly the age of that person. Okay, they have PCOS, they want to get pregnant, they have struggled with these things, they have already tried these things. Maybe they're in a career like this, where which makes it so that they can pay for this kind of like high ticket like coaching, or their spouse is in a well-paying job, something like this. Now when you get really clear about this and you focus on getting one client, once you're able to get one client, you can repeat that, because there's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people who are really close to that exact avatar. So when you feel that you are getting really narrow, scarily narrow, that okay, this is too narrow of an avatar, it's not that you are getting narrow, you are getting specific. And once you are specific, you can start to figure out where you need to put your message, where you need to, show up in front of these people, and they feel that you exist, your services exist just for them, and then sales becomes so much easier. And once you get traction and you start to get clients, you can start to get client testimonials, what you will notice is that you will start to attract people that are adjacent to your niche. So, example, my wife, even though she talks about helping women get pregnant, women who have PCOS or PMOS get pregnant, at some point she might notice like, also women who don't have PCOS but want to get pregnant with this natural method have started to contact me. Or she notices that some other women who have some other, let's say, hormonal or metabolic condition are starting to ask her for help to get pregnant. And that's a good sign to show like, maybe you could widen up your niche a bit, and you could say like, I help women with PCOS or PMOS, or add a third condition. And but it should be driven by the real world feedback versus you feeling like you need to be wider in your messaging to attract. So imagine how hard dating would be if you would be trying to talk to 5 different avatars. But now in dating we are looking like one person, so we are getting much more specific about that. We might have a couple options where we might be like, well, either the person is like this or this. Example, like a person might be like, I want to have some common hobby with my future spouse. It could be football, or it could be going to gym. It doesn't have to be both, but either of those, for example. Or maybe it's like either dancing or hiking. It doesn't have to be both. So there can be a couple options like that. But imagine how hard dating could be if you would be like, yeah, I'm looking for a guy who is like in their 30s, either like highly educated, but it's okay if they're like low educated also, and someone who is into sports, but like any type of sports is okay. And I want someone who is really social, but I don't mind if they're also like introvert. It's just suddenly like, what are you looking for? Where are you looking for? How do you make an online dating profile knowing like who you want to attract? Like it becomes really muddled. So yeah, it's not about narrowing down, it's about becoming specific. It's about being able to get one customer first, so you can get second and third, and then little by little you will start to notice when you can make your message and your niche a little bit wider, but it should be shown by like real data and real needs. Sometimes the need might be a limitation in the niche. For example, if you live in a small city and you would be focusing on small businesses in Turku region, for example, it might be great to get started, but at some point you might realize like, this is not enough. So then you need to widen. Okay, take small businesses also from other cities, or also take some other kind of businesses, example, medium-sized businesses. So there might be sometimes a bottleneck that you run out of the niche and you should widen, but that will be evident. That will be, you will find that point when you start out. Okay, practical example in this one. I used to do business coaching and helping massage therapists get clients. And I chose specifically massage therapist because I myself am a massage therapist. And I was like, I could help, naprapath, chiropractic, osteopath, whatnot. But I was like, let me focus on massage therapist first. I can later widen it. And it was so much easier to talk to those people because they immediately noticed that I am just like them. I know the industry. It was really easy to focus on, like, I'm just googling for massage therapist and contacting them. And now in hindsight, maybe I could have even like narrowed down more to my local area even more, and be like hyper niche down, for the first few clients. Well, hopefully this was helpful, and if you would want to get more this kind of like business entrepreneurship tips, you know what YouTube channel to subscribe to. Thank you. Bye bye.